Hello everybody, welcome to Cape Rugby TV. It's Wednesday night. We talk about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. And of course now we talk about what's happening in the world of Western Province professional sport as well. Coming up on the show tonight, we'll take a look at what's happening, or at least what did happen over the weekend between the Stormers and the Boerland. Of course the DHL Stormers went out to play a friendly there in the Boerland in Wellington. Jerome Parvater had his Club 2 Supersport Challenge team, also playing against the Boerland's second side. We'll catch up with Police Rugby and Goodwood in their pre-season, as well as a couple of interviews during the course of the show. Jerome Parvater, welcome back, meneer.
Yeah, JP, good to be back again. And we had a great weekend last week, and doesn't stop because Super Rugby starts on Friday. So again, another jam-packed rugby weekend coming.
I can't believe that the Super Rugby season is up and running. Remember, folks, you can find our Super Brew Pool, the Cape Rugby TV Super Brew Pool. We're on every week. We take a look at the top 10. We're going to be joined by Danny Jones from Western Province Rugby Football Union in a couple of minutes' time. Of course, the guys are at the moment very busy with the fixtures. But as I mentioned, the Stormers were up against the Boerland over the weekend. But before we go there, big thanks, of course, to our partners at Cape Rugby TV, Hisense, on board of our technical partner, Dulux Maitland, of course, at number 30 Coburg Road, just over the Voortrekker Road. Dulux Maitland, number 30 Coburg Road. MChem, 24-hour pharmacy on the corner of Durban and the N1. And, of course, Score Energy Drinks. Score is on board with Cape Rugby TV. Remember, they are, of course, the sponsors to the Western Province Club Rugby Sevens tournament. And you'll see a number of teams out there with their Score jerseys on a little bit later during the course of the show. I'll give you an opportunity to win yourself a case of Score, so keep your mobile phones handy. Let's take a look now at the first half in the match between the DHL Stormers and the Boerland first 15 side. Welcome back, everybody. Of course, the DHL Stormers up against Boerland there in their first half. Jerome, you were, of course, at the game. As we know, the Stormers doing a test here, really, in preparation for their match against the Bulls, starting this weekend, Super Rugby.
Yeah, it was a tough game for Boerland because the Stormers played with all their Springboks. They actually had a better side that played the first game against the Bulls at Cape Town Stadium.
Yeah.
So it was tough for Boerland, and I think it was Boerland's first sort of game also of the season. And yeah, it was they were competitive.
But let's look at the Stormers. I mean, if you look at the Stormers, yeah, are you feeling that the boys are ready to get rolling against the Bulls?
Yeah, it was a good exercise because the Springboks actually played their first time after the end of the year tour last year.
Yeah.
So it was a good exercise for Flecky to have the boys at least out and have a run. And the great thing about that, they've got, and it was very hot, so the guys had a proper exercise and no major injuries.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good exercise for Flecky to see, and I think they've got a well balanced squad. In we've seen last week, the previous week, how the extra guys were playing against the Bulls. So they've got a good squad going.
All right, well, we're looking forward to Super Rugby. As we say, it starts this coming weekend. Of course, the Stormers up against the Bulls first. Let's take a look now at the second half of the DHL Stormers up against the Boland Cavaliers. Right, there we go. A little bit more action there in the in the second half. Jerome, looking at those guys there, I'm seeing a couple of new faces.
Yeah, the guy was running through the guys there was Nico Leonard. Played under 21 for me last year. He's also at Durbanville Rugby Club. So there was 2 young guys that Flecky used in this game. And it's also like another opportunity for club guys doing well. Was a good thing. It's almost like sort of the second half was like more like a barbarian team.
All right.
Playing.
No, well, they do look like fantastic. Right, folks, we're going to take a break. When we come back from the break, we're of course joined by Mr. Danny Jones from Western Province Rugby, and we'll take a look at the Club to Supersport Challenge up against Boland. Well, we call it the Boland second side, but we'll find out more about that. And of course, interviews with Police and Goodwood, as well as a number of interviews with some of the other club coaches. We're back in a sec. Welcome back, everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV. Nice to have you along. Remember, you can find us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV. And don't forget on Instagram as well, where we'll be doing the player profiles. Don't forget, Dulux Maitland, look for that store behind me. That's the store, number 30 Coburg Road, just over Voortrekker Road, Dulux Maitland, number 30 Coburg Road. They are your specialist paint center, and they will be able to supply you with all the different paint specs that you need. Joining us now, Mr. Danny Jones, Western Province Rugby. Danny, welcome.
Good to be back, JP. Sorry I was a bit late. I was caught in the load shedding traffic.
I nearly got caught in the lift with load shedding traffic. And in fact, it was at the union this morning when I came to to do a few things there at the Union. I was on my way out, and the load shedding struck. And luckily, you guys got emergency generators. But I would imagine if it was 10 seconds earlier, I would have been in a lift, and there would have been no Cape Rugby tonight.
I think you were the last passenger they took up in the lift, because after that it's probably shut down and those things.
The last passenger, I love that. Danny, Jerome and I were just talking now about the Stormers up against the Boland. Of course, DHL Stormers, they're kicking off this weekend. I'm assuming at Western Province it must be all excitement. Super Rugby starts.
Yes, JP, and let me just use this opportunity to thank the leadership at Boland for allowing us to play in Wellington. You know, I think it was a great day.
Yeah.
It was hot. The rugby was hot, the weather was hot, and the Stormers, they were certainly cooking.
They were hot. In terms of the team, Jerome seems to think we've got a good squad and ready to take it to the guys. How do you think we're going to do this year?
JP, I think we're going to do well. If you look at the squad, and Jerome is right, it's one of the best assembled squads in years. There's lots of experience and youth that blend. Yeah. And also, if you look at the number of Springboks in our pack alone, then I'm quietly confident that we will have a good year. Yes, there will be certain challenges during the year, because Super Rugby is a very tough competition, and it's not the one with the first fixture.
One of the, you mentioned the Springboks, and I kind of look at that as a top component. Jerome, I'm going to bring you into this conversation as well, yeah. But what I've noticed is I noticed a lot of club rugby names. I haven't seen that for a while. I mean, or at least that many. It just feels like you've got more club rugby guys that have come through the ranks.
There's a nice fusion. Is that you do have the late developers, and there is an opportunity for them. I always say the best late developer was Damien de Allende.
Yeah.
He came through, he never came through any school system, nothing. Went to play club rugby, and Bob's your uncle, he became a Springbok. So the late developers must never give up, or any rugby player mustn't give up. If you have goals and ambition, and you work hard, good things will come to you.
I'm looking, Jarno Augustus, he's in the squad there, Jerome?
Yeah, he's looking good. I think he's going to be a surprise this year. And also Herschel Jantjies played for UWC in the Shield. He's all of a sudden he's in the mix playing Stormers.
Yeah, that's
so
impressive.
So we are doing something right regarding club rugby. So the guys must just keep on working hard. JP, they can see there's 6 guys playing Stormers. We always preach it on the show here. Guys must keep on working hard, and they will get the opportunities.
All right, I'm going to say now already, I'm looking for Jarno Augustus, the handoff. We're going to call it the Cape Rugby handoff. Let's move on now, folks. Stormers were, of course, up against Boland. That was the first match, but the other match that happened just before that was Jerome's Club 2 Supersport Challenge against the Boland second side. Let's take a look at some of the action there. course, the second, at least the first half highlights between the club to Supersport Challenge and the Boland guys. Boland, of course, leading the way there, 19 points to 12. Jerome, you're, of course, coaching the club side. Can you tell us what went wrong there in the first half?
JP, we sort of had two sides playing, like 40 minutes with the one team and last 40 minutes with the other team, because it's so hot, and we still have a big squad.
Hot.
So yeah, it was
so
very
was the
hot.
heat the problem?
Yeah, no, it wasn't a problem. It does because there's a lot of things that we still need to focus on.
I'm very disappointed.
No,
I expected more from you.
I'm also disappointed, but you will see the second half is a bit better. But we haven't spent a lot of time on defense.
Yeah.
That's where Boland and Boland is known for running rugby, and our defense was poor in that first half. But I think we corrected in the second half. But I was also disappointed in the guys, because, as we say, if you get an opportunity, you use it, and you can't complain. And it's we can show everybody where their mistakes are and where they need to work on. And yes, there's going to be guys. There's going to be consequences for some guys, because we are 6 weeks into our process with them now. So we are looking to cut the squad, because we are working with a big squad in the moment.
Well, I know I was making a bit of a joke there with you, so I don't want to be too hard on you. I mean, Danny, after all, this is a club side against a professional side.
JP, Western Province set high standards. So when a team runs out on the field representing Western Province, they are evaluated as we would do with the Stormers. That's just the standards that we set.
All right, I was trying to be nice there, but obviously the Western Province component here is being very setting the bar very high. Let's take a look at the second half of the club to a Supersport Challenge match pre-season at Boland in Wellington. Right, welcome back, everybody. Of course, the Club to Supersport Challenge there, Boland against the club guys, and well, I'm just trying to find the final score. But during the half, Jerome Parvard kept trying to get my attention to say, "I hope you're watching. I hope you're watching. I hope you're watching." Jerome, you seem a little bit happier about the second half.
No. Exactly what I said, JP, is the second half. The guys played better. They stepped up because we had to, like Mr. Jones was telling you now, we had to tell them about the standards of Western Province Rugby and what we stand for, and it's so unnecessary that you always have to remind guys what they do when they play rugby.
Yeah, but come on, it's their first game, really.
No,
they're playing
their second game.
Yes, it's the second game.
It was Boland's fourth game, and it's our second game.
But you're taking club guys from a lot of different clubs. They've got to play together for a week or two before they get a feeling for it.
Doesn't matter, JP.
Is that how strict you are?
If a guy put a Western Province jersey on, he represents Western Province. Doesn't matter where he come from. He plays for Western Province, and that's the standard that we set. And from the beginning, these guys know. We told them, if you come to the HPC, we treat you as professionals. There's nothing else.
Tell me a little bit, let's move off this. Tell me about how did the guys feel playing in a Stormers jersey?
No, the guys are, one good thing is, JP, every time if the guys play, it falls by also, the guys' parents come and they take photos with their mother and the father, which is a good thing. So there's a lot of pride in the jersey, and the players, they really enjoy playing in their jersey, and that's why we say we're so strict on, if you put that jersey on, you're ready for war and you go play.
Mr. Jones, just going on this there, Danny, it'd be nice for us to profile some of these players. We must take a picture and we get them on the show, and you put their profile there.
No, we should, JP. Just remember, part of the project is to bring club rugby closer to the professional component.
Yeah.
Now we know that in itself is a challenge, but at least it's about creating the access route for the club player. Now this program, and over the years that we have done, gives that access for these players. So that's why we are saying to them that you have an opportunity, you sought after for now, we want to invest in you, you need to deliver. And the other, as I said, the other hidden agenda is, when we send them back to their clubs, they must be better than when we receive them. That for me, I would tell Jerome, it's non-negotiable.
How do you measure that? How do you know if Jerome's done a good job?
Two things. Number one, it starts with reference to the issue of the conditioning of the person, that the person is conditioned properly. Secondly, that he would have been exposed to the professional setup, because they would have seen what the professional teams do. They walk next to the professional guys. Okay. And then thirdly, obviously, is the investment that we make to them with our systems, patterns, and those things. So for me, from that perspective, that's the physical investment that we make in them. Right, and Jerome, we just hope that they take the opportunity and they run with it.
Jerome, on your side, just how do you measure your success in terms of, because it's quite difficult because you've got clubs, a lot of players from different clubs. How do you know they're progressing?
Look, JP, we have certain standards and criteria regarding fitness in certain tests that we do. And we also measure a guy whether from 1 to 15 position specific, and we can tell them what we expect from them and what is sort of the criteria to the Stormers guys. We don't go as high as that, but we work on that criteria. And also we're going a step further now, JP, is everything that we do with them, we give it to the club coaches, so they get our program, they know. And we also show them, and they also come into the HPC, and we show them what we do with them, and how we treat them, and how our program works, so they can use it to their advantage, or if they feel that they're better prepared or what they do, they can do it. But we give them all the info what we do, and we will also at the end of this we will give each club coach a report on their player. All right.
Looks like you have some sort of measurement system. So at the end of the year, we know who's going to be at the Western Province Rugby Awards. We hope. We hope we know. Folks, we're going to take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we'll take a look at some of the club's pre-season warm-ups, at least. Well, not warm-ups, but pre-season practice. We were out at Police, and we were also out at Goodwood. We'll be back in a sec.
Ja, het was baie warm, eerstens. Maar ek dink ons het uitgekom om te geniet. Straks is gespeel wat ons wou gespeel het, maar so nou en dan het ons 'n bietjie die spel bietjie kwyt geraak. Maar as dinge wat ons kan regmaak op die oefenveld en ek veronderstel dat ons voor sal wees met die tyd vorentoe. Wel, ons het baie goeie kwaliteitspelers en die ouens gel baie goed met mekaar. Die atmosfeer in die groep is baie great. En jy kan met enigiemand praat. Soos ons is die brotherhood is daar, laat ek dit so sê. En ons speel vir mekaar. Dis wat die belangrikste is op die oomblik. So ja, ek sal sê die vibe in die kamp is baie goed. Ja, natuurlik coach Jerome en coach Naas, hulle gee hulle uiters bes om vir ons te leer rondom hoe hulle beleef moet speel. En om die eerste keer in die setup vir myself, is 'n baie groot lekker experience. En ja, is dit lekker nice om in die groep te wees. Wel, dit was 'n baie groot eer gewees. Eerste keer toe ons uitkom het coach Jerome vir ons gesê toe ons by Valsberg gespeel het, jy trek die duisa nou aan en ek hoop jy sit ek rou agter daai duisa. En ja, natuurlik soos ek toe ons hier gekom het by WP baie harde oefeninge wat voorgelê het en om te kyk waar ons nou is dit 'n groot achievement op die oomblik en dit kan net beter gaan. Natuurlik soos ons by die klub oefen en so kan man baie sien waar jy in die professional setup teenoor jou klub daar is 'n groot gap, maar om my experience weer terug te vat na jou klub toe en terug te ploeg in jou klub en is iets goeds.
Club Rugby player Milan Besaidenoto talking to us there just before going into the break. Right, folks, remember you can win yourself a case of Score energy drinks. You can see the Score logos behind me there. You want to win this entire case of Score, then just SMS the word SCORE to 33090. 33090. Congratulations to last week's winner, PJ Adams, Peter John Adams. Peter, you walk away with a case of Score energy drinks. Someone from KB Rugby TV is going to be in touch with you shortly. Right, of course, pre-season practice sessions is what we are busy with at the moment. Police were busy in their pre-season. Before we go to that, Danny, Police has really made a move in the last 4 years since coming back into Western Province Rugby.
Maybe they started slowly, but I believe that the head of policing in the Western Cape believes that Police is a big club, and therefore there's intervention from them to try and really make the club successful, and also by bringing in players and that Police players to play for the club. So I do know that's one of the
well, I just want to pause you this. If you look at the Police guys, I think one of the, let's say for example, let's take an area like Macassar, and you live in Macassar and you're a policeman in Macassar. Do you play at Macassar or do you play at Police in Pinelands?
Look, JP, I don't know what are the conditions of employment states.
Okay.
But logic would be that Police, by default, if they want to be competitive, and that is to harness some of those players that's sitting in the force.
If they go down that road of saying, well, we can recruit out of any policeman in the Cape Town area, then Police could be, well, they could be a very strong side.
No, they could be, because they could well have practices at 9 o'clock in the morning while the guys are supposed to be in the stations and give them special dispensation and things like that. That would, if I'm the general, that's what I would do, and take them to another level. But as I said, I'm not there, but I do believe that there is an attempt to get Police into the top leagues, because they believe that they can do that.
Jerome, that's like a dream. You've got a couple of thousand employees that you can pick from.
It used to be like that. I remember Quentin Daniels living in Strand, and he used to play in Strand, but when he joined the Police force, he had to play for Police. Russell Roux lived in Paarl, Johan Kapp, they were all at clubs, but when they joined the Police force as youngsters, Solly Geduld was at Avonwood Noordelijkers back then, playing in the Super League A. And they all had to go. Floxeliers, also from Paul.
Really?
They all
policemen?
They all were policemen. They all had to join, and they were a strong side. They were a force. So it's exactly what you're saying, what Mr. Jones is saying now. They can use it because they were training during the day like professionals.
That'll challenge Marty's for sure.
Definitely, they were
strong.
Challenge,
anyway, let's take a look at the Police pre-season training. Of course, they're playing in the City League at the moment. Maybe with a little bit of practice, they'll be up in Super League A, challenging Marty soon. Well, welcome back, everybody. It's, of course, the police guys in practice in their session. They're playing in the City League at the moment. They do have a new coach at the moment, Christy Jarvis. Jerome, one of your Belleville boys.
Yeah, he's an ex-Belleville player. But I mean, he's in a typical, as we would discuss now, he's in the police force. So he's giving back to police. And and he's a young coach. So hopefully he can help them to step up.
I'm sure that he will. Having come from Belleville, a lot of experience there. We managed to catch up with police vice chairperson and second team coach Francois Venter and Philip Duplessis.
Op hierdie stadium gaan dit baie goed met ons preparations. Ons is nou in ons derde week. Ons het ook so 'n 7 toernooitjie agter die blad gehad wat ons so 'n paar van ons jong talente 'n bietjie die blootstelling gegee het. Op hierdie stadium as die vice chairperson is ek baie tevrede met wat hier gaan. Soos ek vir jou vroeër gesê het, ons beoog nie hierdie jaar net om die top 9 te haal nie. Ons doelwit is ook om die top 9 te wen.
Ek is as 'n coach of afrigter, ek kan nie ophou lag oor dit. Dis altyd baie lekker om die nuwe jong ouetjies en jong talent, vas talent in te kry. Dis natuurlik ook jammer dat van die ouer ouens sal natuurlik moet aftree en na die einde se kant toe staan, maar dit is verskriklik lekker vir die jong nuwe ouetjies wat inkom by ons.
Ons sien baie uit. Ons is baie opgewonde oor ons sportdag op die 23 Februarie. Dit gaan baie interessant wees. Ons het klaar 'n paar klubs gehad wat ons support. Ek vat Valsbaai se reserveliga gaan hier by ons kom speel. Ons het vir Violets wat hier kom speel. Ons het vir Retreat Rugby voetbalklub. Ons het vir Delft. En dan natuurlik die hoofgame wat gaan wees tussen Kuilsrivier en Rossendale United. Ons sien uit daarna.
23 Februarie agterna het ons ook 'n groot summer bash party aan. En dis nie net vir ons klub spesifiek, ons reik uit na al die ander klubs en enige gemeenskap wat bereid is om te kom. Ons gaan daai aan vir Brendan Lee hê van KFM as ons hoof DJ. En die mense is almal welkom te kom. Aantrek natuurlik is gemaklik, 'n summer party. Jy trek aan asof jy strand toe gaan of soos hulle in die Kaapse sê, going to the beach. As jy instap met 'n surfboard, sal dit ook seker in die hak wees, ons nie probleem daarmee nie, maar soos ek sê, ek dink alles het vir ons begin met die top 9 en dit het ons geïnspireer dat ons die jaar baie harder en verder wil gaan as net top 9.
Well, got inspired there. Philip Duplessis just saying that he got inspired there through the top 9, Danny. I mean, that obviously then in terms of that tournament structure from last year, where you got the top 3 from the Southern City and Northern Leagues, the top 3 and then doing well in the top 9, must be inspirational.
It is, JP. That was our intention with the new system, is to give clubs in the lower levels an opportunity. If they want to grow and if they want to compete, that there's a route for them and they can do it instead of doing it in 9 years, they can do it in 3-4 years and get to the top league if they work hard.
Same system this year?
Same system for the next 3 years.
For the next 3 years, right. So we're going to see top 9, bottom 8, is it bottom 8, bottom 9? Top 6 as well over the course of this year. Still a lot of focus on. We're going to take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we'll take a look at what's happening at Goodwood. They're busy with their pre-season training. They've just been promoted to Super League B. They ended number 3 in the season last year. So Goodwood is, of course, on the grow, so to speak. They beat Penel Villages in their promotion relegation game at City Park last year. They've got new head coach Mark Viljoen. And we'll take a look at what's happening at Goodwood at the moment after the break. Alright, welcome back everybody. As we mentioned before going into the break, Goodwood are busy with their pre-season training at the moment. They've just been promoted to Super League B, coming out of Super League C. They ended up 3rd, but of course played in that promotion relegation game at City Park, and that pushed them up into Super League B. Let's take a look at some of the pre-season training at Goodwood. Goodwood preparing their pre-season. Jerome, Goodwood looking like they are excited for next year, or at least for this year. But coming out of Super League C, they're now going to Super League B. Not going to be as easy as Super League C.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. It's interesting to see they have a new head coach. I don't know where the guys who took them to Super League B, Super League B.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting. But Mark, hard worker, his sessions are always well planned. So he'll bring some energy to Goodwood, and yeah, hopefully they will do well.
What will he be focusing on? We know that each league seems to be getting a little bit heavier, a little bit faster. Every time you go up a league, it's a different game.
Yeah, look, I know Mark. He's been involved with the women's rugby. He's very good with skills and defense. I think that's his expertise. But in Super League B, you need a little bit more in terms of your forwards. I don't know if they recruited new guys. Extra guys, because they can't just play with what they have at the moment.
All right, well, the Mark that Jerome is talking about is, of course, Mark Viljoen, who has now been appointed as head coach at Goodwood.
We looking to lay out principles at the club and culture. It's all about conditioning at the moment and the small-sided games, but mostly laying the foundation for our conditioning. 100%. I'm the new guy here, so with the new coach, the older players that have been here are scared of the new guys coming in. And now I'm keeping the mix that have been here, and the younger players. If you're good enough, you're old enough. I'm excited for the challenge. SLB, first team. Really excited. The energy and the attitude of the players is matching the conditioning, so that's very excited. I always say, give me guys with attitude and energy and no talent, and you can do a lot with it. But this club's got that too. Yes, everybody's welcome. Obviously, it's a big community. Goodwood's a big community with all the schools. So I haven't got to that stage of tapping into any schools yet. Obviously, got to focus on the first team and then make sure things are right. But yeah, everybody's welcome. So we've got a whole plan sorted for February and March. I think our first matches at the Kraaifontein Rugby Day. I don't know who we're playing, but it's a Kraaifontein Rugby Day. And then from there onwards, we've got matches all the way through to the first week of April till season starts.
Right, welcome back everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV. Mark Viljoen, of course, now appointed there as head coach at Goodwood, and they are certainly look like they are getting ready for Super League B. All right, well, let's quickly take a look at some of the... We don't have the fixtures yet, by the way. Unfortunately, the load shedding seems to have turned things upside down with the forum meetings, and of course we need to make sure that the clubs have all approved the various fixtures. Am I right, Danny?
That's right, JP. We are busy with that process. We had a meeting last night.
Oh, you've had a couple of meetings.
Yeah, and on the fixtures. So we are waiting one or two challenges that we need to engage in, but it was probably 99% sorted out. But as I said,
Eskom throwing you guys out a little bit.
Yeah, they did.
So that's one of the reasons why we're not finalised by today.
100%.
Which is what we promised the viewers.
Yeah, I know we promised the viewers.
Yeah.
And we can just give all the fixtures, but it would be
unfair.
Unfair because there are a number of clubs, as you know, who didn't have an impact on. I mean, didn't see it yet and engage around it.
But the fact is that any fixtures still that are out, they're not official yet because you've still got meetings to go through.
It's not official, and we will officially sign off the fixtures once we've gone through all our processes. So at the moment, it's all draft.
Yeah. All right, folks. So just a little note on that then. Any fixtures that you're seeing posted on Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp at the moment, that's purely internal and for consultation purposes. We are still waiting the final meetings to take place before things get finalized. We were hoping to have it done by this week, but yeah, as you know, the lights are out of the robots and the houses are looking at buying generators, and we're just lucky to have Cape Rugby TV running full steam at the moment. We'll take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we will take a look at some of the leagues, just so you understand who's in the various leagues, as well as our pre-season training session at the Stormers. One of the interviews we're looking forward to there is with Herschel Janchis, who's of course scrum off at the DHL Stormers. Back in a sec. Welcome back, everybody. Cape Rugby TV, nice to have you along. Remember, Dulux Maitland, number 30 Coburg Road, of course, with all of your paint supplies. You can get out there just over Voortrekker Road, my favorite paint store. They've got everything you need, from brushes to polyfiller and all the various rock grip products. Go out there, you tell them how big your wall is or how big your house is or whatever it is that you need to paint. In fact, even your boat, if you're looking at painting your ship, then Dulux Maitland are the right guys to go and talk to. They'll tell you exactly how much paint it is that you need for your job. You don't have to go and guess and spend a whole lot of money. They'll save you money. They've got great service. That's Dulux Maitland at number 30 at Coburg Road. Let's quickly take a look at some of the leagues, teams in the leagues for 2019. Super League A, of course, sees Primrose, Hamilton's, Brackenfell, Paarl, Vix, Tigerberg, False Bay, SK Warmers, UWC, Villages, Union Mill, Stellenbosch, Sturbel, Belleville, NTK and UCT. So a couple of teams in the mix there. Jerome, if you take a look at that listing there, we've got some of the old regulars there, but you've got Primrose back in the mix, for example.
Yeah, they had a good season. They had a good season last year with Rito coaching them there, and I just hope they can take that momentum through of last year and also hopefully get a few new players in, because as we know, it is a different league, so you need almost two squads. That's where Falls by Hamiltons and these guys are actually doing well, because they can manage their players, so they need that in Super League A. So hopefully they'll get some guys in.
Danny, look at other newcomers there. Of course, Paul is now coming in his Super League A. You got high expectations?
Yes, JP, look, I know Paul is a well-run club, good head coach there, Aman Mashamla and that, but he hasn't been in Super League A yet, so that's a total new ball game. Yeah. But I suppose Paul and Primroses are definitely gonna give it their all.
Well, Primroses are lucky that they've had a taste of Super League A before.
No, they have, and they realize that the stuff being up there. And as Jerome says, that if you don't have a pre-season program and a in-season program and all those things, it's going to be tough, because week 1, week 2, week 3, there's no difference. It comes all the time at you. You know, the top teams, and everybody wants to win. And so yeah, I'm excited to see how Primroses and Paul performs this year. But I also know there's a couple of big dogs sitting there.
Right, we will be taking a slightly deeper look at the leagues over the next couple of weeks as we head up to the fixtures. Of course, the club rugby season starts on the 6th of April, so we're quite excited to see who's going to be up against who over the next few weeks. But DHL Stormers, of course, up against the Blue Bulls this coming weekend as they kick off their Super Rugby season. We managed to catch up with some of the guys and their pre-season training at the High Performance Centre in Belleville.
Ja, ek dink dit was 'n great hit-out. Ons kry nie baie van die soos pre-season games nie. Ek dink die bulle was so 'n lekker toets, maar op Vrydag teen Boland te gespeel het met al die mense daar en te sien ons goed werk wat ons die hele tyd in pre-season geoefen het, was redelik lekker. Ek bedoel, ek sê Grego nou het ons 13-3 gedruk. Ek dink as ons net bietjie van daai momentum kan vat en van daai conference kan vat in die Super Rugby en kan ons net bou op. Ek bedoel, Boland was nou nie van die beste opposition gewees hier, maar as 'n span vir ons was dit nog steeds 'n great hit. Great was van die hele groep en met die coaching staff is hulle het almal 'n geleentheid gegee om te speel. So almal het dieselfde hoeveelheid game time, sê nou maar te gesê van die False Bay game af tot en met die Boland game. So dit was lekker, almal kan gewys het wat in hulle is en wat hulle accomplish het hierdie pre-season en dinge te wys het in die games. Ja, baie excitement in die kamp. Ons het vanaf Desember, dis waarvoor ons November, dis waarvoor ons al begin werk het. En ek dink wat vir ons pleasing sal wees is net om te sien die harde werk baat vir ons, het tel af vir ons en dit kom af vir ons. Ek bedoel, elke ou in die span het extremely hard gewerk. Yes, ek is van Kelmo. So kan maar sê ek het my rugby by Kelmo geleer. Ek het juniors rugby by Kelmo gespeel. So baie lekker, ek het in die oggend by die skool gespeel en kom speel ek in die middag, kom speel ek club rugby. Gaan kyk nou nog, my jonger broer speel nou vir Kelmo. So is nog lekker, ken nog baie van my vriende en so aan speel vir Kelmo, so nice.
Herschel Giant is just guiding us through some of the pre-season practice session there. Of course, Kyler Moorboy went to Paul Roos, so homegrown, Jerome.
Yeah, homegrown, and as we said earlier on, it's good to see that the guys, local guys, I mean, he played Craven Week, he played almost all the teams of Western Province, played under 19, under 21, coming from club rugby, played for UWC, and it's good to see, and I mean, he really stepped up, and I expected a lot of hustle when he was playing for me under 21, so, and he put the hard work in, as he was saying, and look where he is now.
Bulls, of course, this first game this weekend. Other teams also preparing, but the Stormers season seems to be a little bit of a travel back home. Other guys, does this make a difference now?
JP, I think most of these guys, the squad, they used to traveling now, so it's tough to travel, it's tough to be overseas, but I think the guys are settled now as a squad. They've been together for 3 years, some of them for 4 years, and so they know the story. They know exactly. They know how to treat the jet lag when you're over there. But
it's a little bit different now. I mean, if we look at a few years ago, you would go overseas for one leg, and then it would be 4 or 5 games in a row, and you're back home. So you're in your own country now, playing in the Americas and playing in the Asian side of things. I mean, it looks like you're away, 2 games away back home, then 2 games away. It's not a big leg anymore.
Yeah, JP, I mean, when I was still coaching Super 14, we stayed away for 6 weeks, and it's tough.
Yeah.
I actually think it's a better draw now, staying away by 3 weeks, 2 weeks, come back, and then play a few games here.
Yeah.
You're not that long away from home, because as a coach, that last week, it's always tough to get you guys motivated, because the one side of their brain is already in South Africa, one side is either in New Zealand or Australia. So it's tough, but now I think it's a better competition.
Stanley, you've been team manager in your past. We should actually have a whole show on what it means to manage a team. Chippy Solomons could probably tell us all the ins and outs there, but from a team management perspective, the traveling, I don't know, is it same question for you? Is it a little bit easier now than when it was, now that it's 2 weeks away, 2 weeks back, 2 weeks away, compared to back then 4 or 5 weeks away?
I think from a mental point of view, yes, it is easier, because Jerome is right. The longer you're away from home, the tougher it becomes, and if you're not doing well on that long tour, it becomes challenging. You know, the whole situation in the team dynamics becomes extremely challenging.
Yeah.
So it is slightly easier now. The shorter stints, you're in and out, and then obviously the one to Australasia is slightly longer, but it's far better than a 6 week tour. And there's a lot that you can. I mean, there's pros and cons. The one good thing about traveling, and Jerome will tell you, is that at least you're together. You see each other more often, so there's more work that you can put in, etc., etc. But on the other hand, people also need to have total, breaks to cut off from other things, to build the batteries and the energy and all those things. But they are professional players.
I was waiting for you to say that.
And it's part of the territory, and they need to cope with those challenges.
Yeah, I suppose we have to wear one has to find a balance. You can't just say to
the whole thing, I mean, the Dalai Lama said the most important thing in life is contentment and happiness.
Absolute balance, nonsense. I wouldn't go with the Dalai Lama on that one. Everybody knows that the most important thing in life is the Cape Rugby TV show. Right, folks, that's a wrap from us here. Remember, MCAM 24-hour pharmacy is on the corner of Durban Road and the N1. 24-hour open 24 hours a day. There's free parking, anything that you need, pharmaceutical-wise, sports nutrition-wise. You want to get yourself a coffee or get your nails done, then it's MCAM 24-hour pharmacy. They're, of course, supplying Western Province Rugby now as well. So, one of the best pharmacies in Cape Town. Right, that's a wrap from us here at Cape Rugby TV, and we'll see you again next week, same time, same place. Have a fantastic rugby weekend. Good luck to the DHL Stormers. Bye-bye.